So I can't believe it's already December, but I wanted to go ahead and share a reflection here on my blog. I'm again in the Lamar course, Digital Citizenship, and this week was actually pretty good. We talked about the digital footprint, and basically the digital footprint. I watched quite a few videos and I actually saved quite a few videos to my resources on my ePortfolio. Um, so the videos really helped me kind of understand and about the digital footprint, and I want to share these at some point with my students. But I was thinking about it. I grew up in a time period earlier on in high school where there wasn't too much of a digital footprint, but now it's really taken off. And some of the kids I teach, it's just crazy how they are creating their digital footprint. They don't think about the things that they post, they just post them. They don't think about the things that they say, the things that they write, emails, text messages, things like that. And that also has me thinking as a future leader, technology leader, and possibly administration. It has me thinking about being very careful on what I post because those types of things can go on to haunt you later on. In fact, our professor of the course recently said in a web conference that he watches a lot of sports, and some of the NFL players right now they're going back and looking at some of their digital footprints of the things that they said when they were 16 years old. So you really got to be careful what you say, what you post. And one of the videos I watched actually talked about basically you get a digital footprint before you're even born. And then when you're born, start getting even more of a digital footprint. And it seems to me that kids are getting phones, smartphones, younger and younger, 5, 6, 7 years old, and they're already creating a digital footprint at a very young age. Anyways, this idea of the digital footprint, I think it's important, and I definitely want to share it with my students at school. And so I'm thinking about how I can, plan it into my lesson, maybe as a brain break or something else. The other interesting thing this week that I read, it was actually on a video that I watched, and it was the video was called "The Internet Extends and Amputates Our Senses." And, anyways, it was this individual whose name was Darren, and I think it's Kuro Patwa. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, but very, very interesting concept. That particular video um, talks about the internet amputating our senses. And in the video, he kind of shows, he's walking and, recording himself on his phone. And he's saying, you can't see the seagulls out here that I see. You're only seeing what I want you to see. And so he made a point of saying that that's that's what happens with the media. They're going to report and they'll show you what they want you to see, and so there are things that you'll never get to see, and so you have to be careful with the content that you're watching, things like that, because it's not always true. There was also another video that I found very very interesting, and this was a video, and I'll post these links below on this reflection so that you can see those. But there was another guy, Ellie Pariser, and it was called "Beware Online Filter Bubbles." And that was also very interesting. He talked about how he's a progressive. He more leans more liberal, but he has lots of friends that are conservative. And so he, was on Facebook and social media, and he noticed that one day his content that was conservative disappeared. And so he found that very interesting and strange. He found out that the reason for that is because he would mainly click on the more liberal type articles and things like that. And so they were basically not showing him the other side, the conservative side, only what they wanted him to see. And he called it tailoring. Now, he also mentioned a friend that did or he asked a friend to go ahead and research Egypt, okay, several friends, and sent a screenshot back to him on what they found on on Google, the Google search. Anyways, when they sent it back, he saw that it was totally different. Not only their pages, but also the content. And anyways, he says that more and more uh, Google's doing this, tailoring, to people, um, and a lot of other, companies are also toying with this idea. And so this is he called this bad, perhaps, for democracy. Um, because it's really hiding stuff from us that we should have access to. So, anyways, those are some of the things that this week that I wanted to talk about. And there was another concept. It was called net neutrality as well. It's also a very interesting concept. And net neutrality is basically to have an open internet, um, to not necessarily be run by somebody. And now there's a lot of internet providers that argue that this shouldn't exist, that they should be able to basically provide more bandwidth to certain companies or people, charge them more money, that kind of thing. Um, but a lot of people argue that net neutrality, that it would, is a good thing. And not having that would be a very bad thing for us. There would be things that, you know, as far as education is concerned, that teachers, and students would have access to. Uh, they would only have access to certain content and not the whole big picture of content globally. And so, anyway, so that's another concept that I looked at this week and thought it was an interesting concept. But anyways, that's my reflection. I enjoyed this week, and I'll go ahead and post the links to the videos that I mentioned and the articles below. Thank you.